Hello, Globe. It's that favorite time again. It's Donna's Global Time to Talk. Well, today I'm going to tell you a little bit more about myself. I'm a brain tumor survivor. Overcomer, actually. I overcame the removal of a brain tumor when I was 9 years old. It was benign, meaning I had no cancer, but it was pulled out the back of my head in the cerebellum area, size of a golf ball sized tumor. In elementary school, I always was a popular girl because I talked so much. My mother had to put me in school at 3 years old, and at 3 years old, I was very comfortable. And by the time I was 9, when I started having migraines, I was set to get an MRI. And on the MRI, the neurologist saw that I had grown a golf ball sized tumor in my cerebellum area because of a very extremely hard hit to the head of falling off my mother's rocking giraffe in her daycare toys on her patio. I fell off because I was rocking on top of it, standing up by myself. Nobody saw me doing it. Nobody even saw me cry because I didn't cry. I went into shock. I blacked out and ran back in the house and continued to play. My mother just now found out recently that's what happened. So yes, hard hits to the head will cause a tumor. In elementary school, I was always very popular. I talked a lot. I just was a people person. I was very social. I was a teacher's pet, as they like to call it. I always raised my hand and answered questions in class when the teachers wanted to get involved. I pretty much everybody would follow me around at lunchtime because I had so much to talk about and jokes to tell and things about my family, my Uncle Charles and my grandmother. They loved the story, so I was always talking. I've been talking so much since I was a baby, laying on my grandpa Letty, his belly, while he watched a country western movie. And I talked to him until he fall asleep. And then we would rise up in the morning and we would eat cereal. He would chop a watermelon and he would take out every seed. He'd slice it in perfect squares, take out every seed, and we drank orange juice. That was my relationship with Letty. And then after he passed at 75 of prostate cancer, that's when I met my grandmother, Mamine. Well, I didn't pay much attention to because she was always washing clothes and hanging them out on the line and cleaning up the house while I talked to Letty all the time. So after Letty passed in 95, I met my grandmother. And we began to get extremely close to talk. I'm extremely close to her today. She's 95 years old. I'm very proud of her and she's well. So back to me. The tumor got found in 95. I was 9 years old. It got found in November. It was a November night. My mother brought me my last hamburger combo meal as we were across the street from the hospital. And she asked me how was I doing and what else. I don't remember in particular, but I answered her And she finally explained to me that the doctor saw a tumor and I'm going to have to get it taken care of at the hospital. So we go back across the highway, and she drives back across the highway, and we I go on and get dressed up in the hospital. I remember listening to her speaking to the neurologist that night. And anyway, so back to more about me. I always was popular in elementary school. People love to follow me around, and at lunchtime, because I always was telling jokes and stories about my family, about my Uncle Charles, about my grandma, Mama. Um, anyway, they just loved it, and so lunchtime was always very fun. In PE class, there was this guy staring at me, and I didn't know why he was staring at me. I hadn't reached that time to like guys, as I was a late bloomer, and I just said, "Everybody, look, he looks like an octopus," and everybody laughed at him. I remember the disgust on his face at me when I came back to when I returned to school from the brain surgery. I don't know if he ever forgave me. Anyway, well, so I was in fourth grade when I got the brain surgery. I was 9 years old, and I was 9 years old, and my friend at the time came to see me. My one and only visitor in the hospital came to see me with her mother. They gave me a card. They gave me a gift. They visited with me for a while, and they left. When I returned back to school after rehabilitation, learning how to walk again, talk again, and more, eat without food sliding out the side of my mouth. Um, she did not acknowledge me as her friend. If anything, she became my worst enemy. And so did everyone else. And they annihilated me by never speaking to me again. My fourth and fifth grade teacher, which was the same teacher, I went from fourth to fifth grade, tried to help by getting a support group for children to come to the classroom and explain to everybody what happened. It only made matters worse. They began to just really act out. They acted out by looking at me mean, talking to me mean, saying don't look this way, and it just was worse. So, to move on, I pretty much went through elementary school, middle school, high school, and college with nobody mentioning a mumbling word to me, which was very sickening to me because I'm by nature a very talkative person. I did have one friend in college and one friend, actually two friends in high school. In high school, um, there was one of my friends that was in the science academy with me, and she was not my friend during class. She would only play dominoes with me and the guys at lunchtime. That's when she decides to be my friend during the domino game. So she wasn't a real friend. Then I had a friend in my choir class, as I was in choir in high school, that got transferred to somewhere else. Um, in college, the one friend I had We just grew apart. Um, Nobody spoke to me in college. Nobody spoke to me in elementary. Nobody spoke to me in middle school. Nobody spoke to me in high school. And I don't think it would much change in the work world because people are very immature. You know, you have to pray for wisdom from God. You have to trust God and really just mature. I sit and observe people in the grocery store how they sigh, it's taking so long, and tap their leg, and I've seen that and grown people doing that just won't mature. You know, we become these big kids and, you know, don't think about people's feelings, which I had to learn that at a very early lesson at 9 years old because when I come back from my operation, I learned that they were so mad at me. All I did was talk about people to make others laugh. That's what my revelation was. Um, so moving on past that, I um, I decided to check myself into a mental hospital when I had a nervous breakdown at age 23 in college. And the reason why I had a mental meltdown is because that's the onset age for depression. See, I had a brain tumor taken out, so my brain has to stay chemically stable. So I take these meds to stay chemically stable. And my journey for the medication is a little long because my family was so encouraging of me to stay positive, to not accept that I was sick, that my mother didn't believe in medication. She still doesn't. And never wanted me to take anything. And I just had to make my own decision. My grandmother, she taught me, she said, you know, I had to check myself into a state hospital. And you know what? Back then, they didn't have no treatment but to shock your brains with electricity. Yeah, my grandmother went through all of that. She said that she had a heaviness on her head, and through her nostrils, a funny smell. She checked herself into a mental hospital, and she got out, and they told her not to ever come back because the hospital was for sick people. After she had kept returning, um, her mental state started because many reasons, but she did have convulsion, grand mal seizures where you fall down on the floor and foam at the mouth. Me, I had petit mal seizures. Now, the doctors say that seizures, at the time in November '95, seizures and um, tumors are not connected. Getting back to me, I don't know if that's still true in the medical world, but that's what I was told. I also was told that I had a possible stroke during surgery, which shows up on the left side of my face. My left hand shakes, my right hand shake, my right leg, left, all my left side was affected. The left side of my face, my left hand, my left leg, it constantly shake. I struggle with my balance. I struggle with my vision. Most of the time, both of the lenses in my glasses are two different prescriptions, and they put prism in it. Well, these glasses are fairly new, and the doctor did not give me two different prescriptions, and he did not add prism. They're still adjusting for me, and I'm noticing that I can see at certain times, and other times it goes blurry. Um, so I'm holding up well by the grace of God. I'm still a very happy camper. That's just my personality. Um, I I, like my grandmother, decided I'm the one that have to live this life. I'm the one that has to know whether I'm well or not. So I decided to check myself into the mental hospital. They kept me a week. I came out a little better. By that time, they had put me on meds. Now, let me explain to you the difference. Before the medication, I was heavily depressed. Even my family had to come get me from college. I was very balled up in the room, uh, motionless under the covers. They came and packed me home. And then I returned back to college over and over and over again, trying to get back in school as I wasn't in school anymore. I think you call it expelled or something like that. Low grades. I had it got to where I couldn't make it to class. I couldn't remember where the class was. I would just walk to class and then I'm just like start walking and then I would say to myself, where am I going? And I just walk back to the dorm room and lay down and go to sleep. So, yes, at 23 years old, my family had to come get me out of college. By the time I was 28, I checked myself into my first mental hospital. Um, that's why me and my grandmother is so close because she had to do the same. Um, so she always coaches me and gives me encouragement in the Lord, with the Lord on our side. Um, well, so I mean, put in a comment or a question. I'll answer you in the comments. Like and share this video. Subscribe. Please subscribe. I need your support. And choose a notification bell, whether it be personalized or um, all, so that you can continue to tune in to Donna's Global Time to Talk. I just want you to know that's the difference between not being on medication and being on medication for chemical imbalance in the brain. Before the medicine, I was extremely severely depressed. Depression feels like a nightmare every day. A nightmare every day. You can't function. You can't take a bath. You can't dress yourself. You can't brush your own teeth. These things that we take for granted on a daily basis, I just want you to know not to take it for granted. It's a blessing from God. After I start taking the medication, you can't get off. Why? Because it throws you off chemically in the brain. It causes you to be unstable. And they come up with a new term called schizoaffective, meaning that you are bipolar and schizophrenic only through a manic state. But really, you are neither. You are depressed. But you will become schizoaffective without the medication. Have bipolar and schizophrenia symptoms, but you're neither. You're depressed. So, yes, I was diagnosed with depression. Yes, I have to take mental medication to stay stable. Keep my brain chemicals stable in the brain. It's just like my dad explained to me. He said, your shield in your brain has been broken. Your shield, see, your skull has a fluid over it. Well, your brain has a fluid over it, and then there's a shield. The fluid serves as a shield, and then there's your skull. But they had to break into my skull, break through that fluid, drain the fluid off my brain, as they did. Let's see if it's still there. I think it's in my hair somewhere. But basically, they had to put a tube in front of my head, drain all the fluid. Then they broke through my skull into the tumor routes. I have a long scar from my neck where they split my neck. And I have a long scar. I have an actual ugly scar in my hair. It looks like the Matrix, like they stuck a plug back there in my cerebellum. But anyway, I just wanted to say, just to show you the difference. Depression, taking mental meds, does not mean that it's something wrong with you. See, God, I give God all the glory because He gave man knowledge to be able to come up with prescription medication to help others. He also gave man knowledge to help people in a mental state. So, thank you. Don't forget to like, share, comment, subscribe. I really need your support. I really need you to subscribe. What you do is, at the bottom right hand part of this video, there is a black subscribe button. You push the subscribe button, and then it'll turn into a notification bell. You hit the notification bell, whether it be all or personalized. You choose how you want to see my videos and how often you want to see it, all or personalized. And then just thank you very much. Thank you very much. Make sure you subscribe. Thank you.